CashColorCannabis, a high-level conversation on live hiphopdaily.tv tonight. Look, hey.
Hi.
Hey. I got Keisha Plum with me. How you doing, Keisha?
Plum. I'm good.
Great. Always talking to the mic.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm sorry. I throw people off. Whenever I see other podcasts, everybody's staring in front of the mic. And
can move it.
We be just lackadaisical. We just be lackadaisical. But thank you again for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I was actually interested in having you come through anyway. Like, I did see that you attended the Pink Stone brunch. And
yes,
I get nosy sometimes on Instagram. And I start going through pages and stuff. And I'm like, oh, she a poet. I don't know anybody who does poetry. And I immediately thought, why do people do poetry? You know what I mean? Like it's, it's not the 50s no more. You don't have to. Like, most people who do poems know how to rap. I was like, what makes her not want to rap? And I kept saying to myself, I might want to have her on the show. Then, boom, I get an email. It's like from the universe, man, be working. And now I got
that's
you.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've been writing poetry since I was like 12. So I've always written. As I've gotten older, of course, like more people knew that I wrote poetry. Mm-hmm. And the work that I did as far as musically, like with hip hop, I've always just presented myself in that manner. I've never had an interest in wanting to spit a rhyme and just rap. Mm-hmm. I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
Really?
Okay,
but I assume you definitely came up around a bunch of rappers, and it's the other one, the small one. That's the freezer? Okay, my fault. Trying to get stage directions while I'm on air.
Okay.
Sorry. So, but I know you did come around a hip hop background. I mean, being in Buffalo, you definitely had to hear a bunch of rap around you. Like,
was
rap influential in your life?
Absolutely. I mean, I listened to hip hop on a constant, regular. I mean, you just couldn't escape it. And then how you got hip hop back then versus how you get it now at the touch of a button. It's totally different. So It was great growing up in that era where you had to wait for an artist or, somebody may have heard it, earlier in the day and you have to wait till you actually physically get home to listen to it on the radio or catch it on the radio whenever they play it again. So it's a difference in how music is presented. And so, hip hop was everywhere. I have two older brothers and, they were listening to Rakim and LL and they were listening to, Wu-Tang was big, heavy. Love Wu-Tang. It was like three of my brothers. I have three brothers, so me and two of my brothers, we love Biggie. My one brother, he loved Tupac. It was just like one of those things. So was y'all having
a beef in your house?
Yeah, because we was Biggie fans. So it was like, all due respect, but I never was a big fan of Pac like that. So
you know what? No, I wasn't either. Be honest with you, I became a fan. Serious, I became a fan of Pac. I used to date.
I mean,
she's a poet. And that is crazy too. I grew up growing up in Boston. Like I was a Biggie fan anyway. Like it wasn't about Pac. I didn't become a Pac fan until I started dating this girl when I was in college. She was from Torrance. She's from California. And she was a Pac fan, and she literally put me on to the Machiavelli album. Like I refused to listen to it. Like at one point, like it was that serious in my life. Like I refused to listen to it.
Yeah, you just boycott the whole situation. Yeah. I hope I'm
close
in
enough.
this.
You're good.
Yeah, good.
You're good.
So hip hop has always been around me, influential. And then when I actually started recording poetry, it was crazy because this guy that he used to work for me, he was rapping at the time. This was way before I did anything with, West and everything like that. He was like, yo, I know you do poetry. Like, have you ever recorded your poetry? And I was like, just not for serious, just because I want to hear myself recorded. And so his project was one of the first ones I ever did that to. I did the intro and the outro to his mixtape. And then my younger brother raps. Shout out to SK Home. But I ended up doing one on his mixtape too. So it was something I was just doing as a creative release.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Do you have were there any poets that you grew up listening to? Like how I mentioned Langston Hughes. Like I was a big Langston Hughes fan coming up. Like were there any poets like that kind of influenced you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just the poets themselves, as far as like Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin, Paul Dunbar. Is it Paul Dunbar Lawrence? I always get he has the three names. But those poets were very, very influential to me. And then how hip hop is a form of poetry, those rappers that sounded more poetic. But for me, the way my mind thinks, the craziest stuff to me sounds like poetry. So, and when you get to like those grimy lyrics and you got dudes that's just like putting stuff together so beautifully, it sounds like poetry to me. That's my form of poetry. So
I hear you. So when you listen to rap, you do hear poetry sometimes.
All the time.
Like how I feel about Nas. Like Nas is poetry.
Yeah, Nas is poetry. Cormega is poetry. Biggie was poetry.
Biggie definitely was.
To me, Ghostface, like, I mean, like when you listen to some of these people's bars and you like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot of different people within this musical industry. Now you have somebody like Chance the Rapper or like the Kendricks, and, even Jay is, commercial as Jay has been, you go back and listen to some of the stuff he has said, it's just poetry. You're moving through it, and it was kind of dope that he incorporated the spoken word on his album, you know what I mean? So, it's powerful. I mean, it's a really powerful medium.
Yeah. Spoken word was really a thing in the 90s, like mid-90s, late 90s. It was really a serious thing. And, Love Jones took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, absolutely. That neo-soul movement.
Yeah. But you know what? Spoken word is spoken word has definitely changed has definitely changed as all generations change, And what do you feel like is the state of it right now? Because as easy as it is to get content to people, I'm sure, people are bombarded with people who think they can do poetry, and they're bombarded with stuff like that. Do you feel like, again, like, what's the generation like now as far as the scene, and how do you feel like it compares, I guess, to the prior one?
I think so. Sometimes poetry or poets have a stigma on them. They seem real like on a bourgeoisie type of level, elitist sometimes, and not all poets, but it's like this. That I've witnessed it sometimes, I feel. And for me, I think that if you are bold or brave, creative enough that you start writing and you want to share that with someone other than yourself, then that's wonderful. I feel like I don't like to categorize poets or poetry or anything like that, because if there's just so many dope people out there. There's this dude I follow on Instagram. I think his name is Picasso something. I feel like I should know the exact name, but he's always dropping little dope little gems, and his style is way different than mine. So, but I feel like I just wanted to carve out like this lane and just be the dopest poet that I could be.
No, you're right. That's dope. Continue to carve out your own personal lane.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, let's go back to the fact that you do have the connection with rap, because like you said, you did the intros and outros for several mixtapes. Do you find yourself getting used a lot by rappers as far as for that?
No, because I really primarily work with like Westside Gunn, Griselda Records for the most part. Me and Wes grew up together and we reconnected here in Atlanta. And so, I tell that story. It's just like crazy how he was just hitting me up one day like, yo, I know you do poetry. I'm about to go to the studio. I'm about to do this album. This was his first mixtape. Okay. And I'm like, sure. So he had already actually wrote that poem, and he just wanted me to actually, deliver it. So when I saw it, I was, I tweaked a few things on it as far as like the phrasing goes, but it was just a dope, like as grimy as West is in his delivery and his writing, like he wrote that first poem, you know what I'm saying? And it was a very like dope poem that he, put together in this middle of this crazy song. And, but yeah, like my connection to hip hop, like, me working with those guys has been great, and it's been just a growth, like just in 5 years, it's been crazy. But, I have a lot of, rappers that would reach out to me, but, we'll see what happens. I've done some things with some people, stuff that's yet to come out, but I'm always open to work with people. Gotcha. A lot of dope people out there.
Hey, I was on SoundCloud and I found the your Plum EP, I believe it is.
It's just like those are just like poems that I released. actually, the little EP that I released in 2016 is called Tears of Honey. Okay. Plum is not actually on there, but yeah, my SoundCloud just is like, I made a playlist, so that's what it is. So it's a playlist of all of my work and everything like that.
Well, it comes off like an amazing playlist.
Oh,
and
great.
And I was going to mention to you, you know, as the flow of a playlist, do you feel like you're going to ever put out an actual, you know, say, album of poetry?
Well, yeah, the album of poetry is in the works right now. It's called Paint the Town Plum. So the EP that I did, Tears of Honey, that was about 10 poems that I wrote, and then Paul Lawrence Dunbar, his poem, the Caged Bird poem. So I did like a excerpt from that, and I just recited it because I felt it was like a really important piece. But yeah, my album is called Paint the Town Plum, so that will be coming out shortly, hopefully in a couple of months.
All right, that's what's up. For those who haven't had a chance to experience you yet, I know again you don't like categorizing things, but can you try to explain your style for those who haven't heard you just yet?
Okay, so Keisha Plum, I call it plum poetry, and you know, people have this little, in one of my poems I said, in plum poetry we trust. So like, you know, a lot of people, you know, say in plum poetry I trust and everything like that. So to me it's like, because I free form all my writing, but it is just a combination of like luxurious grime and soliloquies.
I like that luxurious
like
grime.
Soul and you know, just sensuality and passion. I think that is just very raw sometimes, but it's raw, organic. It's just all me. Like, I don't try to sound like anybody or be like anybody. You know, I definitely like love Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni, so sometimes I like to, you know, go back through their poetry for inspiration. So, but yeah, that's how you could best describe it. Somebody did call me the hood Maya Angelou, so I'll take that.
Well, you know, Atlanta's a city we're full of open mics, you know what I'm saying? But most of them are normally tailored towards hip hop or even R&B occasionally. Okay. How hard is it for you to kind of carve out a lane here in Atlanta as far as being known as maybe a hood Maya Angelou or somebody who could really tear down a stage? Like, are there open mics here, and are there venues available right now for you to be able to really kind of get your name and get your words out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of venues in Atlanta now. Just to be wholeheartedly honest, I haven't done a lot of shows in Atlanta. Okay. I've done, you know, some shows in New York, Buffalo. Like I think the last show I did, I've done some little events. I did a little paint and sip where I performed, but
paint and sip. I swear, only women like paint. They paint and drink wine at the same time. Like, you can't do anything else.
Look, and they had some spoken word there.
Yeah, always have spoken word.
But
somebody blocking the driveway. Somebody blocking the.
Oh, is that the Asian dude? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So, yeah, hot mic. Yeah. Okay, so what were you asking me?
This was about carving out a niche in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, as far as trying to find places to actually perform your craft.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of different places. You know, there's Apache, there's Cats. There's a lot of different venues. Yeah. You know, like I said, I've done a lot of events, you know, at different, like at some place like this and everything like that. So I like connecting with, you know, smaller, intimate crowds. You know, I like connecting with large crowds. I think, oh gosh, okay, so we were at Webster Hall when Griselda, they did their kickoff to their tour in the summer in New York City. I don't know how many people were in that crowd, D-Jack, probably like maybe over 200. Yeah, so that was the first time I was in a crowd that large. And then I don't know how many people were at the Blue Note, but that's what we did. That was the most. That's probably been the highlights so far. It's just being on the same stage with Cormega. Like, that's crazy to me.
You're clearly a Cormega fan. Like, I've never met a Cormega fan.
No, I'm not. That's disrespectful.
No, I'm not disrespecting. Mega's dope. I'm just saying, I never met somebody who just was hardcore. Like, yo, I've heard you say Mega like 4 times right now. Like, I've never.
Like twice.
That's that's still 2 more times than the normal person I would know.
Normal people talk about Cormega.
Yeah, I'm real. Like, I know Cormega. Like, I know Cormega. Like, I can tell you, it took Cormega forever to put out the actual album. I don't even know. I can't even remember the story as to why it took him like 10 years to drop the album, but it took him forever to drop the album.
The true meaning and realness. And so
but I just thought that was dope. I was like, damn, she's a mega fan. Like, I rarely meet somebody who's that hardcore into rap.
Yeah, I love rap. I mean, come on, like, I love rap. And, you know, I love listening to all my old stuff, but some of the new stuff is okay. But I love hip hop. You know, I'm not a hip hop. Don't start asking me 3,000 questions about when somebody dropped their album and who produced it. I'm not gonna know all that shit.
Like, I'm not that person.
That's not me.
Yeah. She's like, I got Google for all that.
Right. But no. I like, we were just talking about the Fugees earlier and everything like that. I just
you did. You
coincidentally
schooled me.
Somebody's birthday that I know is this day, and so. It's like, it's kind of interesting backstory to that.
That's crazy. All right, well, you did walk us through how you and Westside connected. Like, y'all kind of you went to school together, correct?
Yeah, we went to school together, as they call it in the North, grammar school. Down here, they call it elementary school.
They call it, what do they call it up there?
Grammar school. Do y'all call it? Did you ever call it grammar school?
I don't know. Maybe you did.
We called it grammar school.
Okay, because I always knew elementary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because of this type of school we went to. It's for the gifted and talented.
I like. Oh, that's why she said it. All right.
No, and then my homegirl Tiana, she sings. We went to school together. Westside went there, so it's gifted and talented.
Oh, I'm just saying.
You got 3 examples right there.
I totally understood that one. You know, I was with the smart kids. We called it grammar school.
Right. It was the proper thing to do.
That's what's up. So you got a chance to see this all kind of come into play with him and Conway kind of going from regional thing to underground, like really rumbles in the underground to the point where he's linked up with Eminem. What was it like kind of seeing that development?
It just makes you proud.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. Especially coming from Buffalo, New York. There are no known rappers ever to make it out of Buffalo, New York. They are literally the first. I mean, we've had our Rick James, and who else musically came from Buffalo?
I'm glad we ain't doing this on Instagram Live. Do you know how many Buffalo people be jumping up and trying to drop rappers all anonymous you've never heard of? Like, what are you talking about?
Never heard of them. They don't exist.
What are you talking about? 20 mixtapes deep.
Right. We still know who you are. Nah, but no. But that's just. It was untapped. Like, A&Rs weren't going to Buffalo.
Yeah.
What A&R was going to Buffalo, New York? Like, when you had the mecca of hip hop in New York City, you know, it's different. So now that the industry is different, it's changing, evolving. You know, there can be a light that can be shown on different areas of the country where it's still talent. All the talent. There's a lot of people in New York City that's not even talented lyrically that get more buzz just because they're from New York City.
Yeah.
So, but Wes and Con would eat them alive, bar for bar.
Actually, I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah, they nice. We can't argue it, man. They definitely nice.
We too deep, and we hungry. We too raw.
There's a lot of Buffalo in the room, I feel. There's a lot of Buffalo in the room.
There's at least 3 of us in here.
Feel real Buffalo-y.
Right, at least 3 minimum. She's honorary. She could be honorary, too. This is one of my great friends here in Atlanta that I've met when I moved here.
That's amazing. So that was dope to be able to see. Like, did you take anything as far as watching that grind kind of happen? Did you pull anything from there, from watching that you kind of applied to yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still applying because, you know, it'll come that day maybe 10, 15 years from now where I feel like, wow, I'm successful now. Like, even if, you know, because for me, you know, even though money is great and, you know, you want to be comfortable, you want to have sustainability, but there are these personal gratifications that will make you know that, hey, I've reached a certain level of success. So, but yeah, they definitely have, you know, motivated me and just give me inspiration, really make me proud, like, for real.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I always say that if you're able to see somebody else succeed, that's your blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're literally watching somebody be able to do something. You're getting a chance to see the mistakes and see how to turn a mistake into a success. So that's always a blessing to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been through a lot. And so when you just have like a group of people who are on the same mission and just want to like expand the culture, move the culture forward, like this little needle that we get to push forward.
Yeah.
Am I not talking in this?
No, you good.
Okay.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm literally thinking in my mind. I'm thinking in my mind. I need to apologize to Cormega again. Mega, I'm not dissing you. Like, I'm just.
Yeah, because Cormega actually might watch this.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, he might be down here. I remember when he lived in North Carolina. Like, I just don't want to, dog, I'm not dissing. I'm just saying, I don't know a whole lot of people who just would have said Cormega even twice. Like, that's
yeah. It is what it is,
No,
right.
We're out there.
It is a backhanded compliment, right?
Yeah.
Dissing a legend. Come on.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
I don't. Are we gonna talk about hip hop? We gonna get to it like a hip hop? No, we can't do that. 'Cause you don't like doing dates and all that stuff. We're like, can we do a hip hop conversation real quick? Mega was ill. Mm-hmm. I felt like. Man, you remember when the firm actually came out? You know what I'm saying? It was Nas, AZ, Nature, and Foxy Brown. I thought that was the biggest like sham, dog. Like, and it was a decent album, but you can't do that without Mega. Like, I literally came up on mixtapes and I heard you for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you can't just insert somebody else. And Nature was dope too. Not dissing Nature. Nature was dope too. It just wasn't the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as what was that, 20-some odd years ago?
Yeah, damn.
A long time ago.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. I was young when that happened. I feel old now. The minute you said that,
you can't rewrite history. There are a lot of people that attempt to, but it's part of history, and I think that Cormega has still maintained such a relevancy. And I love Nas. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't like Nas, because no, I love Nas. Like, I grew up listening to him. Like, his lyrics just dope. So. But, where we live at now in 2018, well, the last couple of years, I would say, and we've seen this, this emergence of a different breed of hip-hoppers come onto the scene. Yeah. Everybody's trying to eat, everybody's trying to hustle. I'm not a fan, but, it's just something. It is what it is. And I think everybody who is, like I said, bold or brave enough to share their creativity with the world, let them do it.
What's your turn off when it comes to hip hop right now?
My turn off for hip hop? As far as artists go, or
just like the artistry itself, like what you're seeing from artists put out as far as music wise, like because I just heard you mention that you don't like all of it. Like, what do you feel like it turns you off? What you hear?
No, I'm just saying, like, there are people who are established in the game, like thorough hip hop heads that've been in the game 15, 20, and they have dropped projects recently, and they're trash. So, if I give it a listen and I'm like, yo, this sounds horrible. Like, that's just my opinion, but they're the artists. They're the ones that are already established, but not every major artist that's putting out work here that's so-called of the elite in hip hop, not all of them are putting out good music, No. And, there's this mumble rapper versus the old heads who, but I mean, it's some people from our era, whatever, that you couldn't understand what they were saying, or you didn't feel like you maybe really related to what they were saying. So
I dare somebody tell me what bum skiddly bum meant. And I know I literally bought that tape. I bought that tape, and I remember listening to it. They had a song called
it's from Jazz.
Lucy. I remember like it was literally about one of them catching diarrhea, and I'm like, you made this a song. You know what I'm saying? Like, you made this a song.
It was a lot of stupid songs.
There's a lot of stupid songs back then.
I think that what you just mentioned was from scatting, like from the jazz era. That's what I relate.
That's what you took it from it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you got to think of how music evolves and shapes itself.
That's what's up. Literally, KRS-One, I think very deeply popped in my head when you said that. Like, you took scat from that. I just took it as gibberish. You know what I'm saying? So you look really deeper past it than I thought about it.
Well, it's all interpretation.
Yeah, so what's up. If there was any artists, because I know you have collaborated with Griselda and them, if there are any other artists that you would want to collaborate with as far as laying your art on top of their art?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Erykah Badu. You talking about just like any?
It could be anybody. Yeah, I do.
Erykah Badu, Stevie Wonder.
Dang, she shot her shot high.
Oh yeah, why? Aim for the stars. What? Affirmations, baby. What?
She took off from half court.
Dunk for the way.
Showed it. Swish. So Stevie, we got Erykah.
Yeah. I like. So when I first started listening to Wale, and like Lotus Flower Bomb, that song. Well, I listened to him prior to that, with his About Nothing, More About Nothing, you know, because he's in love with Seinfeld or whatever. So, you know, I would listen to those mixtape, and I just always rock with him. And when Lotus Flower Bomb came out, that his verses were like poetry to me. It was just straight poetry.
I was gonna say Wale is very
one of my favorite songs from him.
He's very much a poet. Like, he's very much a poet.
Yeah, he's dope as hell. So, you know, like I want to work with Raekwon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like that. You say he like Ghost too.
Yeah.
Ghost can describe anything. Like if you ever really listen to a Ghostface record album, like Ghost will describe a whole, like he got watermelon dripping down the pants and it moves like lava cake, and
he always using food in
hell
his
yeah,
life.
man. Like I want to hear a collab with him and Dro, and I just want them to describe stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because Dro do that too. Like he be having Tokyo diamonds. I'm like, I don't even know what a Tokyo diamond is. Like I don't know if you can actually get diamonds in Tokyo. but let him tell it. He got Tokyo diamonds, and the car looked like pork and beans. Like I want to hear them together on the album.
That would be insane.
Yeah,
that would be insane.
Call it Dro Face. Dro Face killer, man.
Yeah, or like MF Doom when him and Ghost. Well, you know, West worked with MF Doom, so MF Doom and Ghost, like they did that whole collaboration. I'm sorry. I feel like
good.
This is making a lot of noise.
Nah, Doom is nice. That's my.
Yeah, he lost his son recently.
I was about to say, yes. Yeah, condolences,
but
man.
He's just, so shout out to this blog, Ladies Love Hip Hop, but she had put up this video of a young MF Doom. And
what, Peach Fuzz Days, like KMD?
Yeah. And he was like petitioning to like the Senate or somebody, the council members. It was crazy. It was like a PSA. But I was just like, that's the most random shit I've seen in a long time. Like, so yeah, but you know, it's just being a part of hip hop right now is dope though, regardless.
That's what's up, man.
But yeah, Stevie Wonder, I have a whole like mixtape dedicated to Stevie Wonder.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Kanye West got something like that for Lauryn Hill. Like whenever Lauryn Hill says, I really want to put out an album, Kanye's just gonna go into a computer and be like, I've been waiting. You know what I'm saying? So you ready? Yes.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Back to our side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that exists. Like that computer that they say his cousin stole, I think that was on it. Like the whole Lauryn Hill album that he has ready to go.
Wow.
It's ready. It's just that we don't know it exists yet.
Yeah.
So and that's how you got with Stevie. That's what's up.
Yeah, Stevie and Erykah Badu, I've just like always fell in love like with her music.
She's another one that's really close to being poetry. You know what I mean? Like she could really switch it up and drop it in straight spoken.
Mama's Gun, that whole album was just straight poetry. Orange Moon, Green Eyes. Ooh. Man, Green Eyes, I would listen to that. It's a 10-minute song. Yeah. I would listen to that probably for like an hour straight, just like.
Yeah. You know, who's another 3000. I think 3000 is more poetry than rap. You know what I'm saying? Even his cadence. You know what I'm saying? The way he does his shit is it's borderline poetry.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. Andre 3000 is dope. We were having a funny conversation about him earlier. But I'll be respectful. So
about 3 sets.
Yeah. Next question.
Oh, can't have it. Do not disparage Andre 3000 in Atlanta. Like, don't do that.
Never would I.
Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So what we gonna see you do next? Like, what's the plans for Keisha Plum this year?
I'm gonna be in a few cities painting the town plum.
I was about to say painting and sipping.
Nah, well, I sip. I like champagne. That's my other little tagline is poet sipping moet. So I have that in a poem. But yeah, painting the town plum. Gonna be going back home to Buffalo, New York. Going back to New York City. I'm gonna go to Philly, DC. And working on Los Angeles too. So
what's the plan? You gonna set up some dates, or you just gonna invade the open mic scene?
Nah, setting up some dates because I want a core group of people who really want to come see me.
I feel you.
And you know, would like to have a few of my friends possibly that are kind of on the same wavelength as me, and maybe come on as some guests in a few cities. But yeah, I just want to promote this new project that's coming out. It's much more infused with hip hop than my last project.
Okay.
So just about every song on there has a hip hop artist. I'm not sure if you know Lyric Jones.
Oh, Lyric! Shout out Lyric. Lyric from Boston too.
Shout out that's my homie. Yeah. And then Vic Spence.
Really? So, who else is featured on this project you got? Because I'm already listening.
Surprises.
I'm listening like, man, especially Lyric. Lyric's dope.
Yeah, Lyric is dope.
Yeah.
She just dropped a video. She's dope as hell.
I used to joke, like, if I ever wanted to be a rapper, I'd have her write my lyrics. Like, Lyric is hard. Like, I think she can get in that vibe.
Bars only. Bars matter. That's her little saying there. Yeah, so yeah, Lyric is dope. But she's good people. Like, she's just a genuine soul. Like, I've come in contact with her on numerous occasions and the same type of person. And that's how I like. I like if I see you one time and I see you the second time, I just want it to still be genuine and organic. So, yeah. But, yeah, there's some surprises on there. It's going to be a nice little refreshing project.
Got it. And what's the title of it again?
Paint the Town Plum.
Paint the Town Plum. And you said it's going to be out in a couple months. You don't got an ETA for us,
See,
right?
it was supposed to be out like in the fall. And then when you start, for me, when my mind starts thinking of other ways to add creatively to a project or get other people involved in it, then, you know, I'm on my own time as far as creativity goes. I never like to rush something. That's why I'm never like in a rush to work with people. People, you know, are in my inboxes all the time, like, oh, can I work with you? Can I work with you? Or, you know, like, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just like, some people, are, you know, they prove themselves to be serious, and others, I think they just, I don't want to be a part of a hype, but I think they think there's a hype associated because of who they know I'm affiliated with. Of
course.
And so I'm always thinking about that. You want people to be genuine when they approach you, but sometimes they're just not, and they have all, you know, ulterior motives. So, but yeah. So, Paint the Town Plum is coming. Like I said, hopefully in a couple of months. Hopefully. And if not, it'll be when it comes. You'll still love it. You'll still be like, hey, okay, this is dope. Worth the wait, exactly.
That's what's up. I heard you got some bars for us tonight.
I think so.
You think so?
Have to drink a little water first.
I was about to say, hold on. I've been prepared for this for now a week now. Don't say you think so.
Yeah, no, I have a little poem that I wrote a long time ago.
You got a little poem you wrote a long time ago? Don't make it sound like you want to pull out something from middle school. Like you know you did this like last week.
No, it's so crazy because I have so much poetry that I've written. There are some old poems that I have, 2004, 2006, so.
All right, well, I like to let the artists do their own thing when they hear, you know what I'm saying? It's rare that we get actually, well, we never got a poet, you know what I'm saying? But it's rare that we bring out artists.
I broke your virginity. That's awesome.
You did. You the first, man. You the first for that. So whenever we do have somebody who does perform, I do allow them to, you know what I'm saying, do their thing. So I'm going to get out your way.
Oh, so you want me to do it right now?
You can do it right now.
Oh, okay. I thought we might have a little break. I need a little water or something.
Oh, you want some water?
Yeah.
Can we get her some water? What we got?
Am I going to just sit down? Y'all cool with me? Can we bring the lights down or no? That's not possible?
Look, we going to bring the lights down too?
I just want to set a mood.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Let me let you coordinate all this. Kimmy Brown is meant for that. Let me coordinate all this, man.
I wish you had some candles.
Yeah.
You were thinking.
Nah, but you know what? I don't think candles will work either. Like I just don't burn down stuff. Don't burn down stuff. We used to get like that with when Buddy used to be dabbing with the butane lighter. Bro, chill. Like, don't set the house on fire. Oh, we did it for you.
It's the vibe, right?
Feels like one of them infomercials from the 80s, man.
From the 80s.
Yeah. Slow jams. No, my brother.
Oh,
you
wow.
gotta get your own. All right, so I'm gonna let you do your thing. Whenever you ready, just let Jay know you ready.
Okay. Do I need to move over?
Oh, you good.
Oh, okay.
I'm just getting out your way. This is your show.
I kept going back and forth of what poem that I wanted to perform for you guys. But there's one of my favorite poems that I wrote is called Versace and Vintage Valentino. So it's a poem that I like. If you like, so close your eyes. I don't want anybody to feel silly or anything like that, because it's just I like for people to really connect with my words. So, you know, if you guys do, if you don't, it's up to you, but it's just a way to do so. So let me know when y'all got all y'all recording devices together. Yeah, everybody is ready. So.
All right, so we all staring at you. You ready?
Oh, okay. All eyes on me. Word to Pac. All right. All right. Okay, so here it goes. Luxurious like jacuzzis on yachts. Her love was in a zone like Quincy Jones playing the piano in satin pajamas. Her voice was warm, sultry, and calm. Her face was poetic like gardenias in bloom. Her thought process was bourgeoisie, Cartier and caviar. Every time she's with them, it keeps her thinking. And every time she's not with them, she's thinking about the next time that she's with them. A horrible love affair. The air became fragrant with Versace cologne and cigar smoke. 24-inch gold ropes against chocolate skin that felt like silk. He had a gap-toothed smile. Her desire was wild, so he was always direct in his approach. He kept her legs pointed towards heaven in red suede vintage Valentino heels. Deep purple orgasms burst out in the cosmos with a feeling that only God knows. Sexual energy like Shaka Khan in her 20s, braless PYTs on dope, roller skating on rooftops. Now let's go.
Can we get some more? No, it's not. Can we get some more? Can we get some more?
Yeah, I'll do another one.
That's fine, man. All right, well, now we get out your way again.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let me think of the other one I want to do. Okay, so this one is called Po Girl Poet. I don't know why. I think because I smoked, my throat is getting a little dry.
Don't blame weed.
I am like, I throw a little dry.
That's like the number one
Side effects of it.
It's a side effect, not negative.
Right. But so I was just thinking one day about growing up poor, like in poverty, not like, oh, we were kind of doing okay. No, we were poor as shit. And just thinking about how, you know, people want to sometimes guilt you over liking materialistic things, or, you know, want to guilt you for like, oh, I want to buy myself something. Like, you know, we can't, you know, take the money with us when we're gone. And, you know, it's just one of those things when you know, you grow up not having everything that you want, but you have the things that you need, and then you can buy yourself the stuff that you want. So this is kind of an ode to that in an interesting kind of way, and it's called Po Girl Poet. Okay. So divine, so on time. Po Girl Poet, poet sipping Moet. Po Girl Poet, Po Girl Dreamer, luxurious dreamer. Po Girl belonging to a Po society. 151 burning my lips. I can't control the sway of my hips. Could we imagine a paradise so bliss, full of sleeping beauties and Po girls with asses soft as heaven and breasts full of angel dust? It'll get you higher than a robin's nest. Po Girl Poet, ballet slippers pirouette into my daydreams, Emilio Pucci schemes. I see things in my mind like death and rewind. Robust life in supply, Po Girl Poet, prose in plenty, pictures pose so pretty. Po Girl Poet, plum pimpin', poetic, prophecy, philosophy, pink diamonds, got this Po Girl chasing, so divine, right on time. So yes, I like David Yerman and have Lorraine Shorts on the mind. Because I don't want to be a Po girl forever. I'm poetry in motion, plum poetic potion, inspiration to those in poverty. Pursue, live, be. Thank you.
You really classed up the Cash Color Canvas podcast.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate y'all having me here.
Yeah, I appreciate you because I knew initially you was just going to do one poem, and I was like, I'm going to get one. That's going to happen.
Thanks.
All right, so
thanks to Kimmy.
Yeah, she's the man. Look,
I know. Y'all have fun, and y'all. I was like, I wish I was there. But the brunch was so bomb. It was like it was amazing.
I heard you
Like
went to sleep like immediately.
no, I did hours later. No. Yeah, no. It wasn't me. Trust me. I had like driving to do. Very, very high. But it was the cannabis infused brunch, and I had never been to anything like that. And it was amazing. Like seriously, I like want her to do another one. Like my friends, they want to come because I went solo dolo, and I was like, well, let me just go and see what's gonna happen. And
everything happened.
everything.
Everything.
I was super high, like
all that happened
the whole day, going into the morning. I think honestly, I'm like not even lying. Normally, like I would have to be facing like a blunt, like maybe 2 blunts or something, like at night, and then I wake up super high and hungry. Cause it just depends. Sometimes I like to smoke and I have to do a single thing. And then sometimes it's like before I go do something, I need to smoke. So it just depends. I think that, I don't know, that might be for everybody, but it's like I need to smoke. Like it's a part of my DNA.
Hey, well, shout out to Candy Lady. Hey,
Candy Lady.
We about to wrap this up because I know she got samples for y'all. I appreciate you coming out here and dealing with our neighbor. You know what I'm saying? I heard him poke his head through the door. He learned how to relax. He learned how to relax. Tell you, people don't talk to black women all kind of ways, yo. they
will definitely gather you in one word.
Let me tell you, man. He came through here one time. He turned back around. There's too many dudes in here, but I already knew you ain't running up on her that way.
One word and one facial expression.
There you go. There you go. Also, I like to applaud everybody. I just got done. I told you I saw the first half of Black Panther. I wanted to watch the whole movie, but I didn't know we had a show and I couldn't cancel on y'all. But y'all are reminding me of Black Panther right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because I literally just left a movie theater with the whole movie, and it literally looked like this whole room, and it was just dope. It was dope.
That's
man.
dope.
Go see that movie this week. It was really amazing movie. Like I said, Ryan Coogler did a great job.
Black history in the making.
It was dope, man.
Black history in the making.
It was really amazing. But I don't want to keep going on. Hold on. Hey, we almost done. Real quick, let us know how we can find you on social media.
Oh, Keisha Plum. It's Keisha Plum. Same thing on Twitter, Keisha_Plum on Twitter, and then Keisha Plum on Facebook. You can go to my SoundCloud, /Keisha Plum. You can go to my website, KeishaPlum.com. You can email KeishaPlum@gmail. But yeah,
What's your MySpace?
Yo, I had the dopest MySpace, yo. For
You
real.
ever go find we gotta go. I was about to say, you ever go look up your MySpace? I did a couple of years ago, and I pulled up all these pictures.
I don't even remember my name.
Bruh, try it. Go find your old MySpace.
All right.
I appreciate you coming through tonight.
Thank you so much, Mecca.
Thank you everybody for coming out. As you know, Cash Color Cannabis every Tuesday, 9 p.m. on live hiphopdaily.tv. Thank y'all.
Thank you.